So welcome, Sorcha.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And you're joining us today to talk a little bit about your experiences with Matrix Reimprinting and how it's transformed your life.
Absolutely. I discovered Matrix Reimprinting back in 2012 after I had tried for 2 years. I tried all of the traditional counselling and psychotherapy for PTSD and trauma over childhood sexual abuse. And I had a wonderful GP who suggested an EFT practitioner, and that was it. I went for my first session, second session, and was off all medication within maybe 4 or 5 weeks. And I have never looked back since, Sharon. So that it changed my life in every possible way. And after much resistance from the practitioner telling me that I should train in it, I eventually went and trained with Carl Dawson in 2013, and I've never looked back.
Wow, so your GP recommended you to have some Matrix Reimprinting sessions. So your GP had obviously had some experience before of that?
Do you know, actually, she didn't. She told me that she had tried everything and that a guy had insisted upon seeing her to leave his cards with her. And she's an open-minded lady, thankfully. And that was it. She gave me the card. It was a Tuesday afternoon, and I had my first session on a Thursday. I had my second session the following week. And after my second session, I was getting up and brushing my teeth and having a shower, and I was doing things that seemed like just tasks that were mammoth to me. And I thought, God, where is my PTSD and my depression going,
I don't know who I am without it.
Yeah, because I had suffered so badly from 2010. And my life had stopped. I had stopped working. I just couldn't function. And it's been priceless.
Wow. So was there a specific incident that happened in 2010 that kind of triggered the PTSD and the depression, or was it just a build-up of something?
Well, I had kept it silent for 26 years. I had told nobody. And then I did tell a cousin, as a matter of fact, comment, and she couldn't live with it anymore. She thought, I can't keep this secret. So she divulged it and rang me to say that she had divulged it to family, and she felt bad. And that was it. It just stopped me in my tracks. My life just came crashing down around my ears. I had no control over it, and it was the best thing she did for me. But it got my life back on track. So it did, even though it was tough. It was difficult.
Wow. And if you don't mind me asking, how old were you when you experienced this sexual abuse? 8. You were 8 years old.
8. Mm-hmm.
And you didn't tell anybody, you kept it to yourself.
And I actually think I forgot about it. I think I forgot about it for a number of years, until maybe I was 16, 17. And I didn't realize that it was flashbacks I was having. I didn't know that that's what it was called. But, I remember it just, thoughts would come into my head or scenes would come into my head, and I physically would go and shake my head physically.
Wow.
To block it out.
Yeah.
And I realized I was doing that hundreds of times a day. In reflection, when I looked back, at the time, it was a coping mechanism. It was to minimize it. And my deepest core belief was, it isn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. And I thought I would never get rid of that belief. I really did, and because I said it about everything. It's not that bad. It wasn't that bad. It's remarkable.
That statement sounds to me like it's a learned statement, something that a child would learn from, say, a parent or a teacher or something. Was that
Possibly.
actually?
I don't. It's just something that I learned to say so that I could cope and deal with what had happened, so that I could go on and function.
Yeah.
And
wow.
exist.
Yeah. And I'm guessing around the age of 16 is the time when you start getting interested in boys and things like that, which of course would start triggering.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So it gave me my life back. It gave me a better life back.
Wow. And for people that have never experienced the depression or PTSD symptoms, could you describe a little bit more about how your life was, just before you went to the doctors and then?
So it came crashing down on a Wednesday afternoon. I remember it clearly. And I was exhausted. When I said it out loud to her, it was like I had no control over my body. Every limb felt heavy. I had to sleep. And the way I used to describe my life was as though somebody had asked me to climb Everest every day without an oxygen tank in concrete boots.
Wow.
That's what my life was like. I couldn't brush my teeth. I just couldn't function. I didn't want to shower, wash, get out. And I remember lying in bed, looking at the ceiling, and all I had to do was pick up a remote and turn on the TV. And I remember for 4 days, I couldn't even do that. I couldn't even go to the ensuite and brush my teeth. It just really was just breathing in and breathing out. Yeah.
Wow. So I can see why, after the sessions, how many sessions did you have that you felt that had cleared the PTSD symptoms?
So I had 2 very hard-hitting sessions, and they were intense, they were long, they were exhausting. And then immediately after 2 sessions, the depression started to lift. I didn't have that dark hole of, I need to opt out of my life here because this isn't working. And then I chose to stay on, and I decided, right, I'm going to clear everything here. I'm just going to keep on working and clear as much as I can. And so I worked with that practitioner by choice for every week for 6 months, because I had things like, awful memories of terrorism in Northern Ireland, and I had seen a lot of things. So I was dealing with all of that, as well as the abuse, alcoholism in the family, it just everything. So I just thought, you know what, let's all sort it all out in one fine swoop. So that's what I.
Wow, it's amazing, because I know from studying PTSD, it's not usually just a one-off traumatic event. There's usually lots of other traumas associated with it, and there's normally 1 or 2 really big things. So you talking about the terrorist stuff that was going on in Ireland, and having an alcoholic parent and things like that. That all is a contributing factor to that one trauma that really just pushes you over.
Absolutely. I mean, it was just, but because you live with it, you normalize it. It's your normal. It's life, and you adapt and you learn to cope with it. But then when you actually face it head on and you decide, you then realize, what a raw deal, and no child should have to endure that.
Exactly.
So I was able to, basically exactly just what you do in Matrix, I was able to step back and look at it and help the child.
Yeah. And would it be okay just to talk a little bit about how you resourced your little 8-year-old self to be able to process what happened, or?
Oh, well, I had a very good practitioner. I was a difficult client. I found, I found initially Matrix difficult because I was too much in my head, and, didn't understand energy and didn't understand the subconscious. But realizing that she had survived it all, and that in actual fact, she was a very balanced, no addictions, no smoking, no drugs, no alcohol, very balanced adult, successful. So I think when you're able to be in the Matrix and provide that safe environment and reassure the echo or that young child that they've survived it, they've come out the other end, and it is actually going to get better. And you help them find that, I call it that cognitive shift, that switch of perception. And also realizing that it's not about the child. the abuser or the alcoholism or whatever. It's not about the child. It didn't do that. It's not them. Yeah. And that gives you great freedom.
Absolutely, it does. Absolutely. And to a child of 8 years old, this would have felt like a life-threatening situation. So to be able to give them that information that they do get through this, that they do survive, and that she came up with a brilliant coping mechanism of, just disassociating from it, and, but later on in life that she gets help with it, is very empowering as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think with the intricacies of abuse of any sort, but of childhood abuse, you have the intricacies of family. Then when it is revealed, it's like a secondary trauma of not having support or not having beliefs from family members who you think would be there for you no matter what. And that was nearly a bigger trauma for me than the actual abuse.
Right. So
I didn't need the validation and I didn't need the acknowledgement of it because I know what happened.
Yeah.
But it's isolating. It's further isolating an innocent child.
Is that because you did tell somebody and they didn't believe you, or that you felt you couldn't tell somebody because they wouldn't believe you?
I didn't tell because of the shame, the humiliation, the usual feelings that come with it. And maybe somewhere I knew I wouldn't get the support. I don't know. And I didn't get the support from those that I believe should have supported me. But again, that isn't about me.
Yes.
That's not about me.
No.
So, but it is painful when you're going through all of that work to feel further isolated or to feel cut off. But people have their issues that are maybe unresolved as well, and I just had to keep on working with myself. That was the main important thing,
Yeah, wonderful. One of the ways that we define define trauma in Matrix is something that's unexpected, dramatic, isolating, and we've got no strategy to deal with it. And your little 8-year-old self was just a perfect example of that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how would you describe your life now?
So as a result then I became a policewoman in Northern Ireland, and so in 2010 I couldn't work and my life changed, and then I tried to get back to work, and then it's funny how the universe works to get you back on your path when you ignore the first sign. I then got injured on duty. So, the lessons were loud and I wasn't listening, but I did listen the second time, and ultimately got injured and wasn't able to do my job anymore, which I mourned the loss of that career, but I'm doing something that helps people much more. I have listened, I've done the training, and my life's unrecognizable really now. It's on a path that I probably could never have guessed or predicted. Working for myself, I spend my time between here in Ireland, where I'm from, and in Perth, Western Australia. So I spend my time between the two. I know, I'm very lucky. I don't have to do winters here anymore. And I get to work online, so it doesn't matter where I am in the world. And it is priceless when you see what this work does for people, and the freedom from their pain, the freedom from what they believe they've been dealt with, so they have to live with it. To me, the only word I can describe is priceless.
Wow.
Mm.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And it's so
hard to explain to people how amazing it is and life-changing it is.
So you don't work with people at the moment using EFT Matrix Reimprinting? You do something else?
No, I do. I work with yes, I am a practitioner. I have my advanced EFT and Matrix Reimprinting, and that is what I use. Yes, sorry, Sharon, yes.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so if somebody was drawn to working with you, how would they find you?
So I have my website, which is just my name, sorchamacaloon.com. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Sorcha McAloon. I think there really is only one Sorcha McAloon. It's not a very common name. And my email, info@sorchamacaloon.com. I love chatting to people. I love meeting people, and yeah,
Beautiful.
helping them be free of their pain.
Yeah, and amazing that you get to do that, you know, in Ireland and in Perth and everywhere else in the world. I mean, that's what's so beautiful about this work, that we can actually do it online. So is
I like unrecognizable.
Absolutely. So is there a specific area that you specialize in, or do you kind of just work with all sorts of stuff?
I enjoy working with women who are running their own business or want to live their passion running their own business and tend to tell themselves all the reasons why they can't. But it is amazing the amount of women who are running their own business and want to work for themselves but have similar traumas.
Yes.
You know, you do attract, you know, it's true what they say.
I know.
Yeah. So they just tend to find me. And yeah, and it's great because then I'm not paying lip service. You know, I do remember being in a counselling session with a male counsellor and thinking, you know, you haven't a clue what I'm feeling or how I'm feeling. But when somebody I'm working with, I do feel it, and I know exactly where they've been, and therefore I know how to help guide them to where they need to go. And that,
Wow.
yeah, that has helped me, because in the eye of my own storm, I couldn't see any possible reason why I would be suffering so much pain and want to die. But now I always say that was worth it. If I can help even just one person, then it was worth it.
Oh, I could talk to you all day. Sorcha, thank you very much for not only sharing your story with us so openly, but also for the work you do. That's a specific area of passion for myself as well. So behind these glasses, I have tears in my eyes. So thank you.
Oh, Sharon, thank you so much. It's been lovely. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Bye.